gun rights activists in the U.S. are concerned, one of their big concerns with more laws on guns would be it becomes a slippery slope that will then lead to them not being able, legal citizens being able to get their guns that they feel like they have, they do have the right to have under the Constitution. They're concerned that it will infringe upon their Second Amendment rights. What do you say to the slippery slope argument?
I don't think it's well-founded if the laws are robust. You see, under the US Constitution, the right to bear arms as part of an organised militia, and remember this was framed in the days of the period immediately following the Revolutionary War against the British, and the concern that the British would come back and you'd need an organised militia again to defend the Republic against the British. By the way, back in the 1780s and 90s, I would have utterly sympathised with that posture towards the British. Last time I looked, the likelihood of the British coming back and suppressing the American Revolution are fairly remote. So that's actually the black and white letter of the law context of where we saw the First Amendment framed. But the second point is probably more important, which is the right to bear arms is one thing, but it doesn't mean you have the right to bear any form of arms. If you take it literally, does that mean the right to bear arms says that you should be able to have your own field howitzer in the backyard, that you should have the ability to have an anti-tank weapon, to run your own drones, which are armed? Of course not. So having a single-action shotgun is one thing. Having a semi-automatic or fully automatic weapon which can kill dozens of people in seconds, that's something else. So You can have the right to bear arms if it's single action. The judgment in this country, Australia, is it doesn't entitle you to bear any category of arms, hence the ban on semi-automatic weapons in this country.
And we already have, one of the big questions is there's more guns than people in this country. I know in Australia there was the gun buyback. There is that big question. But I wonder, as someone who was a world leader, as you see these mass shootings, again, nearly 150 just this year in America, as you see that play out, what is your reaction? What are you thinking? What do you think the world is thinking as they watch this play out in this country?
I think what the world is thinking is that it's time for America to act. Look, I've lived among you in the United States the last 5 or 6 years. I'm just back here temporarily in Australia at the moment. And I feel it as someone who lives and works in New York, that there is a feeling of anxiety that there could be a mass shooting today, tomorrow. When will the next one unfold on a school campus or a university campus or in a shopping centre mall? The terrible history of these things. And that's why, frankly, I applaud the leadership of President Biden in taking this first major step towards national firearms legislation and regulation, which he has foreshadowed. I know what the political reaction will be. I know that a whole bunch of states will say it impinges on their constitutional rights and the usual list of arguments. But I think if you polled average Americans, they want something done to reduce the risk of mass shootings.